Alright, in this video I'm going to show you how to change out your Moen shower cartridge. Hey everybody, welcome to our channel, The Plumbing Gurus. On this channel, we're striving to save you money and keep you informed on all the proper plumbing practices. So don't forget, smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's get into this. Just like anything else, these cartridges do start to fail. Sometimes they'll have a little drip on them. Valve will get washed out. You might not get the proper mixture of hot and cold. You might just need to change it because of the calcium and everything's just eating away at all the O-rings and gaskets and stuff, and we'll go through all that. Let's get started here. So what I like to have when I'm doing these cartridges, they are pretty simple to do. I just have a little baby channel locks, Allen key. Here I have a Phillips screwdriver, all the tools I need. Very basic, easy job to do. First thing you want to do is you want to make sure you go down and you shut your water off. From there, what you want to do is you want to open up a faucet, preferably lower than where you're working. For instance, if your tub is in the basement or your shower is in the basement and it's the only fixture that you have, shut the water off, go around, open up all the faucets that you can open up, and then just grab a bucket or a vacuum and then just put that tight against here. Usually these will extend into the shower anyway, so when you pull a cartridge out, the water will just dump into the shower. It's not going to harm anything or not going to hurt anything. All right, so now that you have the water shut off and you have the faucets open, everything is drained the best that you can, let's start deassembling the valve here, the finish trim on the valve. What I like to do is just a lot easier to line up your Allen key, is I'll just grab this handle here and I'll turn it upwards. Okay, and the other thing too, before you get started with this, I should have also mentioned before, was you want to make sure that you have your drain closed inside your bathtub, so if you do drop something, it doesn't drop down the drain. And I always like just to put a towel inside the bathtub. That way if I drop a tool inside of the bathtub, I'm not chipping it, etc., etc., right? So we're all about trying to save you money and make sure you do the job properly. So like I said, I keep forgetting this number. It's a 7/64 Allen key. We'll shove that in the little hole here. Now sometimes you might find, depending on where you are, if the water is hard, you'll find that this nut here can be really hard to take out. You could soak it in vinegar, overnight, so just spray a bunch of vinegar inside there, let it sit overnight. If you're having a really hard time getting that set screw off, and I'll show you what I mean. Just soak it in vinegar overnight, just let it do its thing, don't rush it. Unless it's obviously like it needs to get done right away, then you can try. And then once I got it loose, what I'll do is I'll pull it to the bottom now, and then I'll unscrew it and I'll just pull it out. Usually it stays. This is why we keep our drain closed. Usually it stays in there, but this one here, you can tell that it's been taken off a couple times. The Allen key is kind of loose in there. So alright, so now that we got that set screw out, let's take the handle out. Handle should just slide straight out just like that. If you find any of this stuff is really calcified, you can soak it in vinegar. So now we'll move on. So inside here, there's a little black piece here. That's what holds the handle on place. That's where the set screw kind of goes through. So inside the middle here, there's a little screw that you want to take out. That should be a Phillips screwdriver. Phillips screw head, I mean. So you use a Phillips screwdriver to take it out. So we just unscrew that. And we just go until we hear a little click as you're pushing pressure onto the screw. And then you know the screw's out. So now what I do from here is I just pull this black piece back towards the screw head as I'm putting pressure onto the screw. And I'll just pull it out just like that. So the screw stays inside of here, right? Makes it easier for reinstall, and I'll show you that later. So there's two pieces in here. These two pieces come apart. If they do come apart, no big deal. So from here, you can pull this little metal sleeve. He just slides out just like that. If you find yours is really corroded with calcium, you can soak that in vinegar too to clean it up nicely. Now would be the time to do it, if you were going to do it. Now we'll take these screws off that hold the finish plate onto the wall. So these have a lot of threads. It takes a little bit of time to take them off. What I'll do is I'll just keep screwing until I can, there it is. It's the click noise. All right, so finally got these screws off. Take forever, but you can see this threads are really fine. Sometimes you're there for a few minutes taking them off. So now this plate here, if it's not siliconed, it should just slide off just like that. You can see in this case it's not. So yeah, looks pretty good. You can spin around. Oh, you can see we've got a little bit of leakage happening here through the screw heads. So, but you can see the leakage is coming through the plate and it's dropping down this little axis or this little place where the water can escape. And it looks like it's escaping down here. Do a little quick visual. Doesn't look like there's any water going behind there, so we're good for that. We're going to take out the cartridge now. So there's a little piece here that stops the cartridge from shooting out. It's this piece right here. I've never really had an issue with these, but sometimes they're hard to pull out. Grab either a pair of needle nose or channel locks. I like to use my baby locks, and I'll just just grab the top of it here and then just wiggle it forward and back and just easily just pull it up just like that. And then from here, grab onto it. You don't want to lose this thing behind there. This is a very important part. That's what holds your cartridge in place, so don't lose that. So next, what we'll do is we'll grab our baby locks. Valve body here can handle a little bit of movement. So you can this one actually came off pretty easy. Just kind of go up and down, side to side if you're having a problem with it, but just slide it right out. So there's the old one there. Looks like this top part is broken. There should be a piece on top there. This one, just like this. Should be one of these on top as well, but it looks like it broke off. So that's taking the old one out. Let's get the new one and let's put her in. All right, so we got the cartridge here. Give you a quick little once over on this guy here. Here is where the cold will come in on this side. This is where it makes the seal, just on the outside of here. There's an O-ring here that makes the seal so the water doesn't come past the cold inlet or hot inlet and past out of the valve cartridge, so out of the valve assembly itself. So, and then it's the exact same the other side, nice and easy. So what they'll do, they'll usually have some grease with the package that you get. If you don't have any, just use plumber's grease. And what we do is we just rub a little bit of plumber's grease just all around there, just where it's going to make the seal. This is a very important step. Don't skip this one. It has this will help your gaskets for longevity. Keeps everything lubed up nicely, especially if you have hard water. Hard water tends to dry out gaskets quicker. So, and these cartridges here, you can pick them up at Home Depot, your plumbing wholesaler. Walk in there, say, hey, my Moen cartridge is starting to go. Most of the time, they'll give you one of these for free. So there we go, looking out for you guys. Save you some money. All right, so what we'll do here is we'll push it up here. So as you can see, I don't know if I didn't mention this before. So there's an H and there's a C on there. The H is the hot, the C is the cold. So the hot is on the left, the cold is on the right. Okay? So what you do now is we just line up our cartridge, slide it into the valve body, push it straight back, and I'm pushing, when I push on this, push on the plastic parts, okay? Don't push on the center here. Push on the plastic parts because that's where we want it to seat against the body here, okay? Is right on the top. All right, so that looks good. So now we'll grab our trusty little piece here. This is the stopper. So be very careful with this, especially if you've got an open slot like this. You don't want to drop this behind there. That'd just be a pain. You'd have to go back to the store and get a new one. But this guy here, it just slides in just like that. It should be nice and flush, pretty close to flush anyways on the top. It shouldn't be sticking up at all. It should be just like that. If it's sticking up at all, then there's a problem. It's not in all the way, it's not seated, so we'll push it down all the way just like that. So on this stem here that comes out, there should be one side that has two little notches. It has a notch right here. It has a notch in the back, okay? If you spin that so that it's at the bottom, that right now, valve is in the off position. So now we're safe to go turn the water on. And the reason why we don't want to put everything in place here and then turn the water on is that we won't know if there's a leak coming through this valve cartridge here, okay? Let's go turn the water on. All right, so we've turned the water on. Do a quick inspection for leaks. You can see we look good to go. It's a little hard to see in there, guys. I know it's a little dark, but yeah, looks good. Looks good, feels good, no leaks. Seated nice. This part here stayed in good. We are laughing. So now what we'll do is we'll put our screws back on and the plate. So I like to use this metal piece on first. Slide it in. Then we'll slide our finish plate on. The reason why I put on the metal plate first is because it's a guide, and it guides your finish plate right on, just like that. So now, this part can be a little tricky, but what you want to do is you want to just make sure that your screws stay nice and straight until you hit the metal. And then when you hit the metal, just turn it around and you'll feel the screw just kind of seat right into place there. And then when you start the screw, just go really easy. If it's tight, don't keep going. Loosen it and start it again. That means it's cross-threading. It shouldn't go on, it shouldn't be too tight to go on. So, and again, there's about 1,600 threads on these screws, so it takes a long time. But take your time and just screw them in. So what I do is I'll just snug this one up here, and then I'll do the bottom one. Same thing. Find where it seats. Good to go. Yeah, because if you cross-thread this screw here, now you're going to have problems with your valve. The threads on the valve are going to be screwed up. So, very important not to cross-thread these screws. I've done it before in the past when I started plumbing. So these here, they don't need to be crazy tight. Just get them nice and snug. And most importantly, try to get them even. So don't have one too tight and then one a little loose. You can see this bottom one's a little loose here. So just get them both even. And you just kind of see it's just seating nice. And now if you have a shower unit like I do, I'll just push up against it here, and it looks like everything is staying nice and sealed. So we're good to go. So next, what we'll do is we'll put on our 2 plastic pieces. Now, if these happen to fall off, really easy to put them back in, okay? Let's take the smaller one first, put the smaller one in, line it up just like that, okay? Now let's take our next one here, and we'll just line it up so that it lines just like that, okay? And now what we'll do is we'll grab this black piece here. This is the piece that holds, that the handle screws onto. So what we do is, because we know it's in the off position, this is going to sit just like this, right? And then I keep pressure on this with these 2 fingers here, and then I'll just turn the screw in just like that. A lot of this stuff is just like positioning. So this one here, make it nice and snug, and then just give it an 1/8 turn or 1/4 turn max. You want that to be nice and sturdy, because that is one screw that could come loose over time. So we'll make sure that's in nice and tight. So now, the other nice thing about having like a towel on the bottom is everything kind of stays right there, and you're not putting parts everywhere, and you're not losing stuff. So now what I do here is I'll slide my handle on. Always have a hand on this handle, okay? Never let this handle just sit there without the Allen key in there, okay? This handle can fall off quite easily. So this just goes in the bottom. What I'll do is I'll just push it straight up. You can see how I'm holding this. A lot of this stuff is just position and using advantages. So like I'm holding my handle here, and I'm also holding the Allen key here, right? That's what a lot of these little tips and tricks are. It's not just how to do it. It's how to do it and how to do it easy, you know? Just little things like this that kind of make the job go a lot smoother. And then this set screw here doesn't need to be crazy tight. I'll just go so it starts to get snug, and then I'll just give it an 1/8, 1/4 turn, just like that. And then it's also a good idea just to grab the handle and just pull it out, pull it back and forth, good to go. All right, so now that we got all this set up, what we're gonna do is we're gonna hop out, pull my towel out, pull all my tools, whatever tools I have inside there, and we're gonna test this. Let's do this. All right, so we got everything put together. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Before we close the video, we're gonna definitely do some testing. So when you're testing here, you're just checking for volume. Make sure your volume is good. Make sure your hot is on the hot side, your cold is on the cold side. Make sure the valve shuts off, which we know it does, but we want to turn it on and then shut it off. So let's go ahead and let's do some testing. All right, hot's hot, cold is cold. It's got a nice smooth operation now. When I was going hot and cold, you want to make sure that your thermostatic on your valve cartridge here is working properly. So you go hot to cold, cold to hot, hot to cold, go back and forth. That will balance the hot and cold pressure, and it should be relatively the same. So that's what I was doing there when you see me just turn the valve from the cold side to the hot side. The valve stopped, we have no issues, problem looks like it's fixed. So again, thanks a lot guys for watching. If you guys have any questions or concerns, give us a shout out, leave a comment below. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thanks a lot guys, we'll see you on the next one.